Hello, welcome to Psych 4422 Advanced Clinical Seminar. I'm so excited that you're here. I get so excited, I forget to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Erika Flores. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I have a doctorate in clinical psychology and a pupil personnel servicing credential in school counseling. Needless to say, I love the clinical world. I love clinical psych. I love mental health. It's all great. It's all so exciting for me. I might know some of you from previous courses. I was previously Professor Soto, and I'm now Professor Flores. It's taken a minute to get used to, but if you're confused, yes, I'm the same person. And I'm hoping that I get to see some familiar faces or names in here. I really just wanted to give you a warm welcome, personalized welcome, because I understand that online asynchronous classes can feel a bit isolating, and sometimes you feel disconnected to instructors, and that's what I don't want. I mean, it's great in the sense that you have flexibility. It requires some level of independence. You don't have to interact if you don't want to. But I certainly want to give you the option if that's something that's important to you. I think that it's so important to have a sense of community, someone in your corner, someone rooting for you, so you don't feel like you're alone in this, because it's a challenging class. Online courses are challenging, and I don't want you to feel like you're on the journey alone. So advanced clinical seminar is very, very interesting course. It's typically for students who are interested in pursuing a career or graduate school in the clinical field. So we'll review things such as integrative treatment approaches, outcome research, psychopathology, coping, health promotion, cultural factors, kind of a mix of probably the classes that you've already taken or currently taken, a little bit of abnormal psychology, a little bit of intro to psychotherapy theories, and law and ethics, all of that kind of stuff. And it's a writing intensive class, meaning that you will have a couple papers, you'll have quizzes, you'll have one final exam. It's kind of a mix of everything. So I won't sit here and read the syllabus to you because I know you're capable of that, but I do just want to highlight kind of the structure of um, the course. So obviously we use Canvas, and I just want to show you the layout. I'm sorry, my computer's of course giving me a little bit of problems. One second. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to share my screen. Now, mind you, my screen's going to look just a little bit different than yours because I'm on um, I'm on instructor mode, but it shouldn't be too different. So you'll have your home page. Um, and my office hours meeting link is right here. It's also in the syllabus. A couple places you could find it. Any announcement that I post through the semester will automatically pop up here. There's no announcements yet because we haven't started, but it'll also come to your CSUSB inbox, so you shouldn't miss it. So make sure you're checking your email. And then you have the syllabus here. I encourage you to download it, save it to your desktop, print it if it's something that works for you. Most of the answers of your questions will be here. Not that you can't email me, but sometimes there's going to be a quicker, response time if you're like, oh, is there extra credit in this course? You could literally search extra credit and it'll come up for you. All the information's there. So again, not that I'm discouraging you from email me, but sometimes if you're in need of an immediate answer, the syllabus is a great place to look. And so you have that in its own tab here. And then the module section is where you're going to live. If you've taken courses with me before, it's kind of the same layout, different material, obviously, but the same layout. So each week you'll have one module to complete. I put the dates here, so there's no confusion of when things are due. So this module technically starts on Monday, the 22nd, and it closes out Friday, the 26th by 11:59. So everything should be done and submitted. Your next module technically doesn't start till Monday, but they're open to you whenever you want. So if you're someone who works ahead, that's fine. I do ask that you hold off on submitting your discussion boards or until the week it's due, just for organizational purposes to make sure that you're, really reading and comprehending the material. But, things are open. So you would just click the first module and you'll have like an agenda here. So it's going to be clear what's due that week. They're all going to pretty much look the same. You'll have one chapter to read. So week 1, chapter 1, you'll read the chapter, you'll listen to the lecture. You could play it right within here. Hard hearing your own voice recorded, so I'm not going to play it. But you can play it here. There's also the captioned option. So if you are someone who prefers or needs the closed captioning, there's that option there. You would just click the link. You could download the PowerPoint, which highlights the most salient points, because I know that chapters could get long and it could be like, what is most important here? My PowerPoints highlight the main points that I want you to know. And then typically I'll have a complimentary video for you to watch, like an additional video. So the lectures they're typically under an hour. So a supplemental video for you to watch that's interesting. I promise I try to choose really interesting videos to complement that week's reading. And then you'll have a discussion board. So it'll be 1 question or 2 questions. And each question you need to respond with at least 7 sentences. And then you'll also have to respond to at least 2 classmates, 5 sentences minimum. So it has to go beyond, in order to get full points, it has to go beyond like, I agree, great post. I really want you to engage because this takes place of in-person, in-class discussion. So you can do your discussions on like a Word document, and then there's going to be a link right here for you where we'll drag it and drop it in. So you'll post it as a reply. So you'll copy and paste from your, I guess I should be clear. Don't just attach your Word document. You could copy and paste the content in a reply, because that'll just make it easier for other students to reply to you. And then you'll be done for the week. So all the modules are pretty typical. So at the end, it'll say, yay, you've completed the module. And then that's that. So some weeks you won't have a discussion board. Some weeks you'll have a quiz. So I think like the second module, you'll have your first quiz. And it won't be on it'll just be for that week's material. So like right here, it says, click here to begin chapter 3 quiz. So you only have to worry about that. It's only 5 questions. And you get 30 minutes to complete them. But again, you have to complete them in 1 sitting. So it's open Monday through Friday of that week, but you have to complete it within 1 sitting. But you won't have a quiz every week. Okay. So the most that you'll have is a chapter to read, a lecture to listen to, a complimentary video, a short quiz, and a discussion. And that's the most that you'll ever have. And then that's standard. The weeks that you'll have 2 midterms and I'm sorry. You won't have any midterms in the class. I'm thinking about another class. You'll just have 1 final exam at the end of the term. That week, you won't have to worry about anything else, just the final. There's not going to be anything for you to do. In fact, the week prior to your final exam, the only thing that you have to do is just watch the PowerPoint presentations that you have to do. So now that I'm thinking about it, let me just your main assignments. I'm going to open up the syllabus. So you'll have some discussion boards. You'll have a couple quizzes. There's 5 total spread throughout the 16 weeks. There are 10 discussion boards total. And then you'll have a career exploration paper. And that is due by, February 16th. And there's the grading rubric. You could click here. And basically I want you to pick a career that you're interested in, even if you're someone who's not moving into a clinical career, you will still choose something to write about. And you'll just, talk through, you'll go through the educational requirements, and a description of what they do. So if you're doing a paper on how to become a marriage and family therapist, what does a marriage and family therapist do, typical work environment, and then here's my grading rubric. So it's only worth 25 points, but you can get close to full points, if not full points, if you just go through each section here to make sure that you know your grammar and your writing, because it's a writing intensive class. You should be solid with your APA formatting. If you need help, reach out to me and I'll help you out with that. So you have the grading rubric there. It's linked out in each syllabus. You'll also have a reaction paper. And there's more information on what goes into the reaction paper. You also get your grading rubric here. Reaction paper, basically, you discuss your reaction on the course material thus far. You can talk about how you're relating to it, how you're learning about, what's going to be required of the field you're going into, personal reactions. It's really, really kind of up to you what you want to use the paper to write about. But I give you some examples here, okay? So you have that, and then you'll have, at the end of the semester, you'll have a PowerPoint presentation due. The requirements are here. The grading rubric, same thing, is also linked out. Your PowerPoint there needs to be a verbal component to it. It's not going to be a live presentation, but you could voice record or screen record like what I'm doing right now. It's not required that your face is in it, just as long as I hear your voice. Should be a minimum of 12 slides. You should use 4 peer-reviewed journal articles, and it should be between 10 and 15 minutes, no shorter, no longer, okay? So I am pretty clear on kind of what I'm looking for, but of course, if you have questions, please reach out to me. And then you'll have your final exam, which is open note, open book. You do have to download Lockdown Browser for it. It's just typical protocol for an online asynchronous class. But I have it set so you're allowed to use your notes in your book. So don't worry about that. Basically what it does is just make sure that you're not going to Google and typing in posting questions or looking up questions. I want you to keep that to looking in your book and in your notes, okay? So don't worry that you're going to get flagged or in trouble for using your book or your notes, because you will not. If you have an electronic book, I always encourage you to pull it up on your phone, separate desktop, a separate computer. You could rent them out from Cal State San Bernardino if you don't have an extra one and you really need it, or a tablet. Not going to get in trouble as long as you're only viewing your book. So there's an honor code there in a sense. So, but if you have questions or concerns about it, let me know. You probably at this point, if you're a senior, have downloaded Lockdown Browser already if you've taken online classes. But if you haven't, and for some reason it's giving you trouble, let me know. Because online classes do require that you have sufficient, technology to be successful in the class. But you could always rent out a computer from Cal State San Bernardino just for your test, just for the final exam if you need to, okay? And the information is in the syllabus. So I have it linked out if you do need to explore that option further. And then I do have extra credit in this class. You can earn up to 5 points. You can attend a psychology webinar or group, anything, if it's on suicide, if it's on self-care, whatever you are interested in. And then you'll write a 1-paragraph description of what you learned. So again, honor code, I'm not going to require like you give me this confirmation that you attended the Zoom, just the summary. You could email it to me or upload it on Canvas. And those are worth 1 point each. And then you could also do a self-care plan. No like formality to it, just a self-care plan for yourself, because that's so important. You're only allowed to turn in 1, but it's worth 2 points, okay? So your syllabus is your best friend in this class. There's so much information in here, but I would just take it week by week. Each module, go week by week, and then you'll remain on track. I'm not going to change anything. If I do for some reason, you will be notified through an announcement and an email. But everything's laid out here for you. Is there anything else I want to go over? You have your grades here. I try to get grades in really, really quickly. I typically have a pretty good turnaround time. That's because I remember how I was as a student. I was an anxious student and I hated waiting for grades. So I do my best to not keep you waiting too long. Same with emails. If and when you do reach out to me, if you don't hear back from me within 24 hours, please follow up. For some reason, that means I didn't get it. But I don't like to keep you hanging or leave you hanging. I will respond to you. And I try to do that pretty quickly. You have your grades here, and then at the end of the semester, I ask that you probably in April, if you review the SOTs, and post some feedback, because I take the class really, really seriously. I take my students' experiences really, really seriously, and I never want you um, to feel like don't have a sense of direction. I want you to, I want to set you up for success and not failure. So I'm here with you on the journey. There are some sensitive topics that we go over. I try to post trigger warnings for those that I feel like can be a trigger or a little bit more sensitive in nature. But do you take care of yourself if there's something that you're going through personally and it's preventing you from getting things in on time. Communication is the number one factor for me. If I know what's going on, if I know that there's something getting in the way of you getting in your assignments, I'll work with you. I'll do what I can to ensure your success. I understand that you have a life outside of clinical seminar. I know that you have other classes, you have work, jobs, families. I know it. I get it. And I try really hard to remember that. And I want to promote balance. It's an intensive course. It's designed to be, that's why it's an advanced seminar. So there is a little bit more work involved, but I try my best to spread it out equally, and, do what I can to give you a good experience. So please, please, please don't be a stranger. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you. I will respond to your discussion boards, and I will give you feedback on all of your assignments. I want you to know that I value your time, and I do read your work, and I will offer some feedback. Okay. I've talked more than enough, but I'm really looking forward to talking with you more through the semester. Okay. Good luck getting started, and take care.